Hello everyone, I'm Heather. I'm back for what I hope will be a really quick video because, as usual, I'm flat against the clock. I'm on my lunch break and I gotta haul us back to work in approximately like 40 minutes. I'm coming to you live from my kitchen floor because it is Hank's safe space. He's not okay. There was, I think what happened was it was a noise, was it? Yeah, okay, you told me. It was a noise. Something happened. There was like a banging or like a whooshing or something. Hank says it was very scary. It was like a death whooshing, isn't it? It's fine. We won't talk about it anymore. We don't want to hurt your feelings. Also, today's food is like vegan spaghetti bolognese. But I'm trying something new today and I'm going with a cold version of it. I've just eaten it straight out of the refrigerator. I haven't even warmed it up, but I quite like cold spaghetti. I don't know, is it just me? So for today's lunch break book chat, I very recently, like just last week, got done doing a sort of holiday vlog, like a vacation vlog. So you know exactly what I've been reading and you know all of my thoughts, literally every single one of my thoughts about it. So the thoughts that I have now at this lunch break are to do with sort of the month upcoming, so March. I think I'm gonna do 2 readathons, but as of right now, I've fully committed myself to at least one of them, and it is Dewithon, which is the Wales related readathon. Oh baby, is this all just a ruse to get some spaghetti? It's just all a ploy, and you're not scared at all. You just want spaghetti. But the Wales Readathon is, I'm going to link it down below, the sort of headquarters page for it. It's to do with Book Jotter, I think. And they did it last year as well, but I didn't know about it then. I only heard about it this year, I think because Sean the Book Maniac tweeted about it. And I think quite a lot of it is to do with just blogs, like writing and everything. But I don't care. I'm gonna do videos anyway, and I'm just gonna link them to their page or whatever, like just sort of like tweet about it with the hashtag. I think the hashtag is Dewithon20, but I'll check it and I'll put it somewhere. Anyway, this particular readathon is to do with Wales specific books, the country, not the animal. Although a readathon about the animal whale would probably be very cool. Ew, Hank, you drooled on me. Oh, Hank. Oh, back up. Oh, Hank. Okay, I think I sorted him out now. What do you reckon? Comfy spot? Yeah. Anyway, so the Dewithon Readathon is books to do sort of loosely related to Wales, like Welsh books and Welsh authors and Welsh settings and things like that. So the sort of rule for it is that the book has to be somehow loosely related to Wales. So like the author's from Wales, it's set in Wales, it's about a Welsh legend, the authors may be based in Wales or just whatever, like loosely related to Wales. And I'm really into that because I live in Wales, my husband and my kid are Welsh, I'm learning the Welsh language, and I don't think that I read enough local books, you know, like Wales itself, the culture is grounded in, you know, 1,000 years and more of like solid literary tradition, and there's loads of really good stuff out there, and I definitely don't read enough of it. So I like have acquired quite a lot of it on my shelves, this like massive stack, and basically I just look at it all the time. Like every time I want to read another book, I go and I look at it, and then I feel sad and then I quickly avert my eyes because I think I should definitely read that, but then I never do. So this is going to be a really good way for me to get through those, have a really awesome time, and also to discuss sort of these Welsh books and this Welsh literature, whatever, with other people who are also doing the readathon. So I guess the readathon last year was pretty good, like loads of people did it, so I'm in. Okay, I'm hoping to get to the majority of the books that are here because quite a lot of them are short and small. 2 of them are poetry things, quite a lot of them are novellas, so I'm gonna give it a good college try and try to hit all of them, but as it stands now, especially because I haven't yet decided the state of my middle grade March ambitions. I think I'm just gonna have to leave it open, like say the books that I want to read and get through, and then just leave it to gods. Oh, there's a hank hair in my juice. Do you feel happy with yourself? Okay, so the first 3 that I want to get through, I actually acquired very recently, despite the fact that I had loads of books that I still hadn't read. Obviously, I acquired more because I have no shame. But this is when I went to a poetry festival, the Seren Poetry Festival, to see Bert Pastore do some of his poetry. He's on the channel Pastore Time with Sean, and I watched that quite a bit. I read his collection of poems and they're amazing. So I went with Tina. I'll link her channel as well down below. And we went to see him, and then afterwards we went to the bookstore and we like did some stuff and hanging out, and like basically I felt super cool. And they had loads of books for sale, like part of the, like other poets part of the festival and everything. There, I bought several things because it's compulsion. One is In Retail by Jeremy Dixon. And this is a collection of poems mainly to do with working in retail. And I sort of saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I worked in retail, what do we got, what do we got? And it sort of opened up to a poem that was just to do with like making an announcement over sort of the loudspeaker in a store, and then being told that it was so garbled nobody heard it. And that really got me. I like had a chuckle, so I was like, okay, I'm definitely getting that one. And then as I was walking back with it to my chair to sort of watch everyone do their readings, Jeremy Dixon walked by me and he was like, oh, did you just buy In Retail? I was like, yes. He's like, I'm Jeremy Dixon, would you like me to sign it for you? I was like, yeah, okay, badass. So he gave me a bit of a little announcement there. I don't know a lot about Jeremy Dixon at all. I only know that he's done this, but he was in Wales with the Seren Festival, so I imagine that he's loosely based in Wales at least, if he's not fully Welsh at all. But the back says, while working in a well-known pharmacy chain, Jeremy Dixon found surprising inspiration. His poems were written on the ends of till rolls and smuggled out in his socks. Anyone who has ever worked in retail will recognize the characters and situations and the management speak absurdities. But Jeremy is also brings his perspective as a queer writer to bear with witty and wicked results. So I'm super excited about that one. I might actually start with it first. The next one, I'd never heard of this poet, Emily Cottrell, The Day of the Flying Ants, until she went after Bert. So Bert went, did amazing, then some other people went, and then she went and she read a poem to do with coal. Some of her poems are quite sort of Wales based. She's not from Wales, but she lives here now, and quite a lot of her poems are to do with like Cardiff and Wales. And she read one about coal that I just loved. It was really good. So in the end, all 3 of us, me, Bert and Tina, all bought this one ready to go. She also has one about Brains, the sort of Cardiff-based beer chain. It's a bad hangover is Brains, but I still do it. Okay, and the last one that I got at this festival thing is called Welsh Quilts by Jen Jones. All of you that have just fallen asleep thinking about this book, I feel you, but I think you should give me a second chance. Okay, so this one is basically, so like Wales has like a really strong tradition, with a lot of cultures do have a really strong tradition of making quilts, and you know, Wales is no different, and it's like feeds into quite a lot of sort of textile history of Wales. So you go to loads of like museums and stuff, and they always have these quilts, and I never really know anything about them. I see them and I think, oh, that's gorgeous, I really like that, but I don't really know anything, you know. Where did they come from? Who did them? Why are they like that pattern specifically? Did the patterns change as time went on? You know, are there certain patterns indicative of certain regions in Wales? Blah, blah, blah. And so this, I think, is going to give me a good solid answer to everything I've ever wanted to know about Welsh quilts. And also it has pictures, which I'm for. So I'm weirdly excited about this one, despite the fact that it seems like it's like a boring Nana book, but please don't judge me. I've had enough judgment just from Hank today. The next 2 I bought last November as part of novellas in November. I really wanted to get to these then, but didn't really do it, and then just have had guilt ever since then. So they're both novellas. The first one is Things That Make the Heart Beat Faster by Jow Morrice. obviously his name is not Welsh. He is apparently Cardiff based. He's from here, and this book is sort of loosely about that. This person, Holly Muller, says, a wise, funny, fizzing with life depiction of Cardiff, its street life, nightlife, and home life. Maurice tells us stories of compassion, self-destruction, and awakening, all brilliantly captured in the distinctive voice of the Welsh capital and its multicultural people. So when I sort of like read this thing of what it's about, I felt like a serious Nana, like a super square, you know, like when your grandma's wearing an apron and making cookies and says the word fuck, you know, you just feel weird, like it didn't belong. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna read it now, but I'm gonna like warn you that me looking like I am and being like I am and reading it just sounds like sort of like a Nana talking about a penis for ages. Okay. There's something in us all that makes us want to get smashed. It's always been there in everyone. Back in the day, people used to shant beer instead of water. Their smokes were 10 times stronger, so you would get a head rush just from looking at a pipe. You would smash as much opium as you could to cure everything from a cough to a hangover to a sawn-off leg, and fuck the afternoon pick-me-up cuppa when you could have a mug of brandy and half a teaspoon of cocaine instead. Anyway, I'm really excited about that one, to be honest. Sean at Past Storytime told me that she actually like works with him at the museum, so I'm excited. Anyway, so this next one is The Dreams of Max and Ronnie by Niall Griffiths. So there's a series of these. So these are all, it's like one of a series of all of them, and they're basically modern retellings of the old stories in the Mabinogion, which is sort of the old collection of like Wales legends, you know? It's sort of like every culture seems to have like an epic, you know, like one sort of massive book of the legends and everything. Mabinogion is that for Wales. And I did read that book, and it's just sort of like, I quite liked it because I like old things like that. I like traditional tales and things, but obviously quite a lot of it was lost on me because it's so old and it's told in such an old way, you know? It's sort of like when you read Shakespeare. If you just read Shakespeare, you feel like you know, you got it and you understood it and it was poetic and it was beautiful, but you really need to also read the Cliff Notes for Shakespeare to fully understand what has happened. Like, is anyone else like that? Probably it's just me that's like that. Like, I'm too thick to get it on the first go. Like, I need someone to tell me what it means. But it's like that for me for the Mabinogion as well. So this particular one is based on Ronaboi's dream and the dream of Maxim Ledig. Like, these are the stories in the Mabinogion that they're based on. And I can never remember if that's one of the King Arthur ones or not. Because quite a lot of the sort of original King Arthur legends are in the Mabinogion, him being sort of like a Celtic figure, sort of like a sort of Welsh figure-ish. There's war and carnage abroad, and a rack-bound squatty Ronnie is out with his mates forgetting what is yet to happen. He takes something dodgy and falls asleep for 3 nights in a filthy hovel where he has the strangest of dreams, watching the tattooed tribes of modern Britain surrounding a grinning man playing war games. Meanwhile, Gangsta Max is fed up with life in his favorite Cardiff nightclub, Rome, and chases a vision of the perfect woman in far-flung parts of his country. But as Max loses his heart, his followers fear he may be losing his touch. Now, Griffith's retelling of 2 dream myths from the medieval Welsh Mabinogion cycle reveal an astonishingly contemporary and satirical resonance. Arthurian legend merges with its 21st century counterpart in a biting commentary on leadership, conflict, and the divisions in British society. Oh my god, I'm so excited! I forgot how awesome it sounded when I read it, first of all. It's been sitting on my shelf for months. Oh, bad show. Holy crap. You will not be surprised that it is like running out of time. Okay, so next one is called The MoonEyed People, Folktales from Welsh America by Peter Stevenson. So I found this one at the museum just outside Cardiff. It's called St Fagans, and it's like an open air museum. So they've taken all these really old sort of Welsh farmhouses, sort of like 1600s, 1700s Welsh farmhouses, sort of plonked them in a field so that you can go and visit them. And there's loads of like culture stuff that always goes on. I went there with my kid for Halloween to sort of enjoy some museum festivities, if you will. And that's why I got this book, because I can't go somewhere and not get a book. That's the truth. A lone man wanders from swamp to swamp searching for himself. A wolf girl visits Wales and eats the sheep. Lakota men reenact the Wounded Knee Massacre in Cardiff. Mountain women practice Appalachian hoodoo, native healing, and Welsh witchcraft. These stories are true tales, tall tales, and folk tales. They tell of the lives of migrants who left Wales and settled in America, of the native and enslaved people who had long been living there, and those curious travelers who returned to find their roots in the old country. They were explorers, miners, dreamers, hobos, farmers, radicals, sailors, soldiers, witches, warriors, poets, preachers, prospectors, social reformers, and wayfaring strangers. The Cherokee called them the MoonEyed People. So this is like an anthology. Obviously, I'm American. My ancestry as well is Welsh. So even before I moved to Wales, my family, like, heritage was actually Welsh before that. So, you know, what better than a Welsh American anthology? So this one is Water Shall Refuse Them by Lucy McKnight Hardy, which I also bought ages ago and never got to. This one I think is like a bit of a horror one, or like a bit sort of like an unsettling type one. The heat wave of 1976 following the accidental drowning of her sister, 16-year-old Nif, and her family moved to a small village on the Welsh borders to escape their grief. But rural seclusion doesn't bring any relief. As her family unravels, Nif begins to put together her own form of witchcraft, collecting talismans from the sun-bleached land. That is, until she meets Mally, a teen boy who takes a keen interest in her and has his own secret rites to divulge. Reminiscent of the suspense of Shirley Jackson and soaked in the folk horror of the British Isles, Water Shall Refuse Them is an atmospheric coming-of-age novel and a thrilling debut. So, Sean, at Past Story Time, I keep mentioning them because I watch them quite a lot, and also they live in Wales too, and that's sort of why I think quite a lot of the things that I read to do with Wales I sort of first saw on their channel, or like they've mentioned something before. But I believe that Sean said she didn't really like this one. I can't remember properly, but I do remember getting it and thinking, oh, it's going to be amazing, and then hearing someone say, ooh, I'm not sure I liked it, which has put me off a little bit, but not all the way. I think I'm still going to go into it. Okay, so the next one, when I went home to Seattle for Christmas to see my parents and everything, they have loads of books in their house that I used to own. I guess I still own them, but like, let's be honest, am I really gonna fly them to Wales? Like, especially because I've read most of them already. But a lot of them are actually from when I was a kid. And some of them, despite me knowing that they've been there since I was a child and knowing that they're child's books, I don't actually remember ever reading. And I think it's a situation like now where you buy a book hoping to read it and then you don't actually get to it, and then, you know, roughly 20 years go by and you never read it. So one of them that I found on the shelves and thought, oh, somebody said about that recently, they said it was really good, it's sort of roughly to do with Wales, and I don't remember reading it at all, is The Dark is Rising by Susan Cooper. This one is, on the midwinter day that is his 11th birthday, Will Stanton discovers a special gift, that he's the last of the old ones, immortals dedicated to keeping the world from domination by the forces of evil, the dark. At once, he's plunged into a quest for the 6 magical signs that will one day aid the old ones in the final battle between the dark and the light. And for the 12 days of Christmas, while the dark is rising, life for Will is full of wonder, terror, and delight. So I'm pretty heckin' excited about this, to be honest. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like, look how old it is. It's $2.99 on the cover. Like, does anything cost $2.99 anymore? Okay, so, oh shit, running out of time. The next one, when I said I went to the bookstore with Tina and Bert, we went to Troutmark Books in Cardiff, which I love. It's like a used bookstore, and it has like a downstairs and an upstairs, and it's built in this like old arcade, which I love. Anyway, I found this treasure, which is The Book of Three, part of the Chronicles of Prydain, by Lloyd Alexander. And this is another one that I remember sort of wanting to read as a kid and then never actually getting to. But it's sort of loosely based. You know that Disney movie that flopped? The sort of Black Cauldron in the 80s. It was actually like based on Welsh legend or like Welsh books or whatever, and it's like one of the only Disney ones that flopped. But anyway, this is those books. Woo, look at this! Ooh, I love a good map, me. Taryn is desperate for adventure. Being a lowly assistant pig keeper just isn't exciting. That is, until the magical pig, Hen Wen, disappears and Taryn embarks on a death-defying quest to save her from the evil Horned King. His perilous adventures bring Taryn many new friends, an irritable dwarf, an impulsive bard. a strange hairy beast and the hot-headed Princess Elanoi. Together, they face many dangers from the deathless cauldron-born warriors, dragons, witches, and the terrifying Horned King himself. Darren learns much about his identity, but the mysterious Book of Three is yet to reveal his true identity. Pretty excited about that one. So, those are the ones that I'm sort of definitely hoping to get to, and then I have two sort of on the fringes, right? So, there's one of them that's quite big, that I've wanted to read for a really long time, but it's quite big, and I've got a plate already, and another one that's actually in the Welsh language that I recently picked up. So this one is Here Be Dragons by Sharon Penman. It's a bit of like a, you know, a fantasy classic, if you will, or like a sort of historical fiction classic. Loads of people have said it's really good, and I really want to read it, but it's so big. Like, come on. Indulged and adored daughter of King John, wed to Llewellyn, Prince of Gwynedd, her father's great vassal and bitter foe, Joanna was a lonely stranger in a hostile land, till she came to love her charismatic husband, and in the bloody wars that followed, the beleaguered strongholds of the marches were not more ravaged than Joanna's troubled heart. The turbulent clashes of two disparate worlds and the personal destinies of the people caught between them are magnificently interwoven in this sweeping novel of power and passion, loyalty and lies. Here Be Dragons brings 13th century England, France, and Wales to tangled, tempestuous life. We'll see if I get to it. So I'll knock out all these guys, and then if I still have time and I'm still feeling, you know, roughly ambitious and having a nice time still with Dewithon, I'll give this one a go. So the next one that I'm thinking, hopefully I can get to, hopefully, at least I'll try to start it, if not finish it all the way, is Shiva Glass Nebo by Manuel Stefan Ross. So like, it's roughly sort of apocalypsy, like dystopian, which I do love. I do love things like that, and I do want to read the Welsh language so badly, but it's so hard. Like, I just need to just hunker down and just get to it, because the only way I'm going to be able to fully indulge in the Welsh language reading life that I want is by doing it more often. And what better one than a tiny one? It's got loads of awards, everyone is raving about, and is dystopian fiction. It's like basically made for me, so I need to just get on it. So I'll at least start that. Also, look how cute the author is. Look how cute. She just looks fun. I'll link all of the stuff down below for the readathon, just in case you're interested. Like, I do feel like it's of interest to people not in Wales as well. Like, Welsh literature is so gorgeous and so old and so like grounded in tradition, you know. Like, it's, I think Wales is sometimes called like the land of poetry and song or something like this. Like, it's really, you know, Celtic and, you know, passionate and beautiful, and there's just a whole world of like Welsh literature that I think probably the world doesn't really get to see, you know, because Wales is such a small country, it's not very powerful, like it's quite a lot of the time overshadowed by England. People just sort of think of the UK and think, oh, England, and don't really know about Wales that much. And it's just got loads of absolutely gorgeous literature to go for it, and poetry and everything. So I'm hoping that even with this, yeah, like videos and stuff, like I'll have a couple book chats about what I'm reading, you know, like talk to other people about stuff. Oh shit! Ugh, I forgot about the group book. Oh, balls! Ah! They're all falling. There's also the group book that actually looks really good. Like, I don't have it now, which is what made me forget about it. But it's called like One Moonlit Night or something. Like, I think the original Welsh language title is like Inoson, or like Inos Leiad, Inosola Leiad, something like that. Anyway, One Moonlit Night is the English title for it. It was written, I think, in the 60s by something Pritchard. I'll put it here. Sorry, I don't have time. But he is a really famous Welsh author. He's really loved here. And this book, I think, was voted like the best Welsh novel at the Wales Arts Review or something like that. And that's why they picked it for the group book, so everyone reads it and then we have a discussion about it. But I think it's also going to be one of these ones that's like really hauntingly tied to place. I think it's like North Wales and sort of like a mining type thing. And it takes place during the First World War, and it's about a son and his mother. I think his mother ends up with some sort of mental health condition, and she's put away or something, and he's got to sort of overcome these various things. But I think it's supposed to be like a bit tragic, really haunting, a lot of like landscape detail, like the one that I was just reading in Lanzarote recently. Anyway, that's also exciting. I'll like put it up somewhere, and I'm hoping to get to that one as well, but god, there's so many now. Anyway, thank you for watching this. I'm sorry that it's been a bit of a crazy day. I didn't even eat all my lunch. I'm gonna have to put it in a Tupperware and sort of like take it in a backpack. What up, Hank Hank? Are you better? You feel better? He feels better. The scary noise must have gone. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's all been a bit chaotic and a mess. But if you have any questions about anything, or know any more information about the readathon, or if you've read Welsh books previously, or you have any other ideas for me to add to my list, oh, the noise is back. Please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to have a chat about any of this. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. 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 I would just like you all to know that it's absolutely pouring down now, whereas before it wasn't raining at all. And if I had just left on time, like a person who leaves places on time, I would have made it before it started. So, hooray for me.